The wind rustled through the bamboo grove as the evening settled over the small village. Inside the modest home, Huyen was washing rice while little Maya hummed softly, her innocent voice filling the room with a fragile warmth. Dee sat nearby, repairing a bamboo basket, his hands steady, his presence calm as always. For a moment, it seemed like peace had returned to their lives after so many storms. But peace never lasted long. Not when shadows from the past refused to die. The ex-mother-in-law had not forgotten the humiliation she suffered when she last confronted them. The image of Dee standing firm, shielding Huyen and Maya from her wrath, had burned into her pride like fire against dry wood. To her, it was not only defiance, it was shame, and shame demanded revenge. As she walked alone through the narrow village paths, bitterness twisted her thoughts. If she could not bend Huyen, then perhaps she could strike at the heart of her weakness. Maya, the child who carried her son's blood, the child she believed belonged to her family, not to this shameless woman and the man who dared to protect her. Back at home, Huyen sensed something heavy in the air. She paused from her work, her eyes drifting to the doorway where the wind pushed against the thin curtain. Her heart tightened, though she could not say why. "Dee," she whispered, her voice trembling slightly. "Do you ever feel like the past is chasing us?" Dee looked up, his dark eyes steady. He laid the half-mended basket aside and reached for her hand. "The past may chase us," he said softly, "but we are no longer the same. We are stronger now. Whatever comes, we will face it together." Huyen tried to smile, but deep inside, fear stirred. She held Maya closer that night, pressing a kiss to her daughter's forehead as though to shield her with love alone. Far away, the ex-mother-in-law's footsteps echoed in the dark, carrying with them a storm that threatened to break the fragile peace of their little family. The next few days in the village carried an unsettling silence, broken only by whispers that seemed to follow Huyen wherever she went. At the market, she could feel eyes on her back, hear fragments of words slipping from the lips of women huddled together near the vegetable stalls. "They say she wants the child back. Blood is blood. The girl belongs to the father's family. Poor thing. What will she do if they come to take the child away?" Huyen's hands trembled as she picked through the rice. Each word was like a stone pressed against her chest. She hurried home, clutching Maya's small hand tighter than ever, as though someone might snatch her away at any moment. That evening, Dee noticed the way her eyes darted to every sound, how she pulled Maya into her arms even when the little girl only wanted to play with Baby in the yard. He sat down beside her, his voice calm but firm. "You heard something today, didn't you?" Huyen's lips quivered. "They're saying she might try to take Maya, that she's been speaking to men in the market, planning something." Her voice broke, and tears welled in her eyes. "Dee, I can't lose my child. I can't." Dee took her face gently in his calloused hands, wiping away the tears before they fell. "Listen to me. No one will take Maya from you. As long as I breathe, she will stay with us. Don't let their gossip steal your strength." But even as he spoke, a knot formed in his stomach. He had heard the same whispers. He had even seen the old woman talking in hushed tones with strangers by the market gate, her eyes cold and full of calculation. That night, sleep did not come easily. Huyen lay awake, holding Maya close, listening to her daughter's soft breathing. She prayed silently, her heart pounding with fear. Outside, the crickets sang, but to her ears it sounded like a warning. The storm was drawing nearer. And in the shadows, the ex-mother-in-law's plan was taking shape. If she could not break Huyen with words, Then she would strike with actions, and her eyes, sharper than ever, were fixed on Maya. It was a late afternoon when the danger came close. The sun was low, painting the yard in golden light. Maya was chasing Babi, her laughter ringing like tiny bells. Huyen sat nearby, weaving a mat, her eyes constantly following her daughter. For the first time that day, she allowed herself a breath of relief. Then, a shadow appeared at the gate. The ex-mother-in-law stood there, her figure small but her presence heavy as stone. She did not shout this time. Instead, her lips curled into a smile that did not reach her eyes. "Maya," she called softly, her voice like honey dripping from poison. "Come here, child. Grandma has something for you." In her hand was a small paper bag filled with sweets. Maya's eyes lit up, her innocence too young to sense danger. She took a step forward, but Huyen's sharp voice cut through the air. "Maya, stay here." The little girl froze, startled by her mother's tone. But the old woman bent lower, her voice coaxing. "Don't be afraid. Grandma only wants to hold your hand. Don't you want to taste candy? It's sweet, just like you." Huyen's heart pounded wildly. She rose to her feet, moving quickly toward her daughter. But before she could reach her, the old woman's hand was already extended. Maya hesitated, her tiny hand lifting. "Enough." Dee's voice thundered from behind. He had just returned from the fields, his shirt damp with sweat, his face dark with fury. In a few strides he stood between Maya and the old woman, his tall frame casting a shield over the child. "Do not touch her," he said, his voice low but firm. "You have no right." The old woman's smile cracked into bitterness. "No right? She is my blood. You think you can steal her away? Let her grow up in shame with a woman who abandoned her family." Huyen's voice broke with tears as she pulled Maya into her arms. "She is my daughter. You will not take her from me. Not with words, not with tricks, not with anything." The old woman's eyes burned with rage, her fingers tightening around the paper bag until the candy crushed inside. "You can defy me, but remember this. Blood always calls to blood. One day, she will be mine." She turned sharply and walked away, leaving behind the bitter taste of fear. Inside the house, Maya clung to her mother's neck, confused by the shouting. Dee placed a steady hand on Huyen's back, his voice a quiet vow. "We will not let her succeed. Whatever she plans, we will stand against it." But in his heart, he knew this was only the beginning. The first move had been made, and the war for Maya had truly begun. The next morning, the house felt heavier than ever. Huyen woke before dawn, her eyes swollen from a restless night. She looked at Maya, still sleeping peacefully, her small arms wrapped around Babi, like a shield. For Huyen, that sight was both comfort and fear. Comfort because her child was still safe, fear because danger was closing in. Dee sat outside, sharpening his hoe, his face carved with determination. He had not slept much either. The image of the ex-mother-in-law reaching for Maya haunted him like a shadow. He knew now that words alone would not stop her. "Huyen," he said quietly when she stepped out, "we can't fight this alone. She will come back. Next time, she won't come with candy. Next time, she'll come with people." Or the law twisted to her side. Huyen's chest tightened. "What can we do? We have no power, no money. All I have is Maya. I cannot lose her." Dee stood, his hand resting firmly on her shoulder. "Then we must let the village see. Let them know the truth. We've done nothing wrong. and they will stand by us if they see with their own eyes. That afternoon, Dee invited a few neighbors, kind men and women who often shared meals and laughter with them. They gathered under the jackfruit tree where the new bamboo bed stood. Huyen told everything: her marriage filled with cruelty, her escape, her efforts to raise Maya alone, and now the ex-mother-in-law's sudden reappearance. Her voice trembled, but her eyes shone with courage. I am not ashamed of protecting my daughter. I only ask for peace, for her to grow up safe, loved, and free. The neighbors murmured with sympathy. Old Mrs. Tam, who had always been fond of Maya, spoke up. We all see how you care for this child. No one can deny she is happy here. If that woman tries to cause harm, she will not stand against us. Dee added firmly, I am ready to stand before anyone, even the village head, to declare that Maya's home is here. In that moment, Huyen felt something she had not felt in years: strength not from herself alone, but from the people around her. For once, she was not fighting in silence, but as the sun dipped below the horizon, she could not ignore the lingering dread in her heart. She knew the ex-mother-in-law would not retreat so easily, and somewhere out there, the old woman was surely plotting her next move. The day came sooner than anyone expected. It was late afternoon when the sound of footsteps echoed outside the small house. Huyen was inside preparing rice, Maya humming softly as she folded her books. Dee was repairing the chicken coop when he noticed shadows moving beyond the gate. His heart clenched. This was it. The ex-mother-in-law had returned, but this time, she was not alone. Two men walked beside her, their faces stern, their presence meant to intimidate. Maya, the old woman shouted, her voice sharp, cutting through the air. Come out, child. You belong to us, not to these people who stole you away. Maya froze, fear flashing in her wide eyes. She clutched Huyen's skirt tightly, trembling. Huyen bent down, her voice steady but filled with fire. Stay close to me, my love. No one will take you. Dee strode forward, his body forming a barrier between the intruders and the house. His voice rang with unshakable force. If you take one step closer, you'll face not just me but this whole village. Maya is safe here, and she will remain here. Just then, neighbors began to arrive. Mrs. Tam, Uncle Tu, and others who had promised to stand with them. One by one, they gathered at the gate, their presence strong, their eyes firm with silent defiance. The old woman's face twisted in fury. You think you can hide behind these people? Maya is my blood, and she is my daughter, Huyen answered, her voice breaking but resolute. She pulled Maya into her arms, holding her tightly as if her very soul depended on it. You may claim her by blood, but you never protected her, never loved her the way I do. She is not yours to take. The men beside the old woman shifted uncomfortably, realizing the strength of the crowd. The neighbors murmured in agreement, some stepping closer to stand shoulder to shoulder with Dee. Finally, the old woman's fury cracked into silence. She glared at Huyen, her eyes filled with venom. But her power had slipped away. She turned abruptly, spitting words like curses. You will regret this. But her footsteps faded down the dusty road, swallowed by the setting sun. In the yard, silence lingered until Maya whispered softly, Mom, they're gone. Huyen kissed her daughter's hair, tears falling freely. Yes, my love, they're gone, and they will never take you away from me. Dee's hand found Huyen's, strong and steady. Around them, the villagers offered quiet smiles, their presence proof that they were not alone anymore. For the first time, Huyen felt a weight lift from her chest. Fear would always try to return, but she knew now love, courage, and unity were stronger. And with that, their little family stood together under the fading light, unbroken, unshaken, and unafraid. This story reminds us that family is not defined by blood alone, but by love, care, and sacrifice. Huyen and Dee showed that true parenthood means protecting a child with both hands and heart, even when faced with threats and intimidation. This story reminds us that family is not defined by blood alone, but by love, care, and sacrifice. Huyen and Dee showed that true parenthood means protecting a child with both hands and heart, even when faced with threats and intimidation. Maya's safety was not won by force, but by unity, the strength of neighbors, the determination of a mother, and the quiet steadfastness of a man who chose love over fear together. They proved that no child should ever be used as a weapon of revenge or control. The lesson is clear. Love must always come before pride, compassion before control, and protection before possession. When we stand together for what is right, no threat can truly break us.